Fenwick, you're muted. All right, so let's
And
see if this is actually.
Why don't you just go live, pull Joseph out of the mix for a while, and then let him get going, and we'll sort of join him in progress.
yeah, I just muted him, and it's just you and me, and we're live, just like that.
All right.
Good
Just like that,
morning,
wow.
everyone. Good
Fenwick, you're
afternoon.
muted.
This is gonna be a
All right,
crazy
so
thing.
let's see if this is actually.
Why don't you just go live, pull Joseph out of the mix for a while, and then let him get going,
Okay,
and we'll sort of join him in
Fenwick.
progress.
Yeah. Fenwick, you can hear me. Huh?
All right. Okay, so I'm back.
Okay.
You can hear me, correct, Felipe?
You, right? The audio coming back there. I was like,
back. Yeah,
it's not on my side. Come on. I have.
So what are we
crazy
doing here?
routes here?
This is completely ad hoc. We're probably going to screw up a million things here. I want to just say that over the weekend, this is Monday, the 12th, April 12th, 2021. Over the weekend, Joseph is looking like he feels like he should.
Hey boys,
hear
yeah,
us.
I'm feeling a little bit confused right now because I can't figure out how to mute you guys through Zoom without actually shutting the Zoom call.
Just set the output, the audio output, to something else that you're not using.
Else. There we go. That's a good idea.
Good call.
All right.
Good call.
Good call. Good call. So
for
if you heard.
You want to explain, Fenwick? Explain what's going on.
I want to give everybody the lay of the land. What's going on here? So over the weekend, Joseph said, "Hey, I'm doing this thing," and I said, "You know, it'd be fun. This is all my fault. If this is a disaster, this is all my fault. You know, it'd be fun. Is to Joseph. I tell you what, we'll pull you into the comms channel so you can hear us, or Felipe will pull you into the comms channel so you can hear us, so you can turn off your Zoom feed." So Joseph's going to do this live edit for a few hours. And I said, you know, it'd be fun is if Felipe and I set up some sort of a rig, and we'll just sort of spy over your shoulder, and we'll kind of do like a running play color commentary over Joseph's edit. And so we are currently watching Joseph. I'm entirely unclear as to whether or not he's hearing us right now.
I do hear you guys. And I don't know if the audience hears you through mine. So
they probably do.
I'm having an issue where, well, I'm having a couple issues as always. Trying to get your audio to go elsewhere. That is driving me nuts because it is constantly coming into my ears.
What outputs you have available for you there?
Well, a ton. Let me sort that. But also I'm having bandwidth issues for some reason streaming this 4K stream. So I need to kind of sort this out. I'm going to take it off of auto bitrate and give it a little bit higher bitrate. And let's see if that fixes everything. My audience is saying that they're getting me very stuttered. It would be a shame to turn off my feed and only do yours, but that may be what we have to do. Anyway, we obviously did not get to test this at all in advance. Yeah.
Well, like I wrote on Twitter, this is totally experimental. We have PhotoJoseph trying to do his streaming there, the original one. And then we get part of his stream through Zoom, and we stream ourselves on top of his, basically.
Yeah, right.
Okay, I think it's gotten better on mine. So they're getting you. I need to get you guys out of my ears completely. This is because you're echoing through to them. Oh, also I have you on speakers, so that would explain part of it. Okay, hold on. Let me make sure that my
turn off your speakers.
No, I got that. I hadn't realized. And YouTube's asking for even more data. Let me give it some more. Let me give it a 20 megabit stream. Let's see what happens.
Do you have those days where you're sitting around listening to people talking and you realize you probably don't belong at that party? Half the times I have no idea what you guys are talking about.
Okay, their echo should be gone. Okay, I'm talking to my audience as well.
And I will test talking to you. I don't know if you hear us. Felipe, can you put Joseph in our comms channel through Discord?
I can, but then we can hear, but not our audience. Unless we want the audience to hear the comms channel with PhotoJoseph. I can do that.
Our audience should be able to hear Joseph over Joseph's stream.
Yes.
Well, yeah, but then I have to hear you as well. That's the problem that I've realized.
And that's the whole point of all of that is to, oh, you mean our audience? You don't want your audience to hear us, do you?
Yeah.
I guess not. I guess not, except that when we're talking back and forth, if they don't hear you, then that gets really confusing. They're like, who's he talking to and why? They really do need to open both channels at once. I think that is a key thing here. But I'm just having issues getting a high enough bandwidth stream out, which I don't understand why. So I'm going into my router settings and just see what the hell's going on, because there should be plenty of bandwidth, but it's not. So give me a moment here.
The computer is backing up somewhere or uploading to Dropbox or. Okay.
No, that's the wrong one.
I will make it possible here for us to send the comms channel to our audience as well. I don't think, just in case. So that will, and everyone that's watching. So what's happening here? There are several parts to this equation. There are many computers involved to get isolated feeds from each one of us.
Here,
and then
let me go through that. Can you take me full screen? And I actually have a slide deck I've prepared here.
Okay, go ahead.
Of course you did. Fenwick's got slides.
So here's the deal. We got a couple of people on Zoom. It's Felipe and I. And then what we've done is we've decided to invite Joseph to our little party. But before we did that, we're actually streaming our stuff through an ATEM to YouTube, and we're also streaming using a thing called Streamlabs to Twitch. So what we did is we invited Joseph to be a part of our little show here, and Joseph is just going to do an edit. Okay, so somewhere between, and the three of us are in a Zoom call, and so between the three of us there is what I like to call the mystery zone. Okay. And the mystery zone is basically what's going on Felipe's desk. And he's using a bunch of tools. He's got these little tiny computers called B-Links. I call them the B-Link Zoomers. And essentially what Felipe does is he starts the Zoom call, but he pins each person in the call on a separate one of these little B-Links. And they're these very inexpensive little, like, palm-sized computers. They're very small. I think they're like a couple $100, Felipe. How much are they?
Yeah, a couple $100.
Yeah. He then has all those patched into an ATEM Extreme ISO, and that is where he is building all of the super sources and whatnot. He's using a plugin called Live Chat Overlay by Aaron Parecki, and that's also coming through on one of his B-Link Zoomers, and that allows him to put the little live chat stuff coming in. He also, and I'll be honest with you, something like this, the audio is probably much more difficult than all the video. And Felipe has an extensive audio hijack screen that maybe he's prepared to show us. I don't know. And that allows him to route and patch and listen and broadcast various audio signals at various levels at various times. And then what we have intended to do, which may or may not actually work, is we are going to talk to Joseph only using Discord as like an audio back channel. We may have already deleted that portion of the mystery zone, but that's the physicality of what's going on here. And then I'll let Felipe explain what he wanted to say.
Okay, so I think let's go back to here, the three of us. I think it's going to be interesting for me to just show you guys here how all of that looks like. What Chris explained, ATEM Mini Extreme, ATEM Mini, and under the table, I have those B-Link computers.
Nice camera shot.
Yeah,
Did you
that's
see that?
awesome, right?
Do that again.
My
I think Joseph looked away. Watch this camera shot, Joseph.
All right.
Look at that.
Watch where the B-Links are. Bam.
No, he sent me a picture of this earlier. Okay, so just real quick. So everybody who's on my channel, I've got my streaming issue fixed. Apparently the buffering is gone. They still hear you, but of course I got to get you out of my ear, so they're not going to hear that. So everybody who's watching on my channel, PhotoJoseph Live, you also need to open their stream. The link to it is down below. They're simultaneously streaming to YouTube and to Twitch. You're going to want to keep both open because my stream will be a higher resolution of my screen. If you don't have the bandwidth of both, then just open theirs. But once I pull them out of my ear, you're not going to hear them either. And so it's going to be me talking without listening to them because they're going to talk over me. And obviously I can't listen to them while I'm editing. So that's the idea.
But by and large, we'll try not to interact with you too much. Okay, Joseph?
Right. And they have the ability to interrupt me, but I'm just realizing, Chris, so I have to put headphones on so that I can hear the edit and the audience can hear it, but not get an echo, which means I'm not going to hear you on Discord if you guys fire up on there and say, hey, Joseph, pay attention to me. So I'm not quite sure how to handle that.
We might scream, make it very loud for you there.
Yeah. All right. Good idea. So I've got the Discord open. I don't know if I'm going to hear you though. So
best laid plans. So essentially nothing I just said is actually going to happen. It's just a bunch of bald guys yelling at each other over the internet.
Let me get my iPad open. Fenwick, you can always just text me and I will try and keep this screen in view so that I can see if you text me. Okay. If I don't respond on Discord, then just send me a text message.
Got it.
Okay, we get this open, and I guess I don't need power on there. That's fine. Okay, so that I should see. I'll turn off Do Not Disturb, so it actually does come through. All right. Okay, so my audience, you guys are seeing and hearing me okay now. Is that correct?
Yep. Now, what I will also say, had we given this even like a little bit more planning and pre-production, Felipe, go full screen on mine again. And this is a very tiny version of what Joseph could have set up if we had thought this through. This is a little audio hijack chain that I built for monitoring things, and it allows me to monitor. This was made for monitoring Unity, Zoom, and then my computer. And it's even set up in such a way where Unity intercom system this ducker will duck my Zoom feed when I'm talking over Unity. And we could have built something like this for Joseph, but we didn't plan that far in advance, so sorry. But while Joseph is not listening to us, are you still listening to us, Joseph?
Yeah, I still hear you. I've just about to figure out the audio thing.
Okay, so I'm going to just keep talking, and when you start editing, we'll figure that you've turned us off and you're editing, okay?
Fair enough. Okay.
Well, I have a couple of questions here to answer from our audience. We actually have quite a few people watching. So hello from everyone from Brazil as well that's watching.
But make sure that all you all come subscribe to my channel too. Let's not forget. And hey, you guys remind people a couple times for people who come in new, remind them that you've put the link to my stream in your description, right?
Yes, it's on the description and now it's in the chat as well. So
okay,
guys,
remind them to open that so they get a higher resolution view of my screen because I think that'll help because we are going to.
Joseph likes the resolutions.
So well, go figure. Has dual monitor. It's one stream in one, the other stream on the other monitor.
Okay, so I am just very much trying to figure out how in the heck to get this audio routed so that I don't hear you guys. So if I send you Mac Pro speakers, then you're coming up through those speakers, and I can't control that without controlling the rest of the audio in my system, I think. Wait, maybe this works.
Do you have any just spare?
Okay, now I don't hear you.
Thing?
Okay, so that's good. So I don't hear you. Let me see if I can hear my own stuff right now.
And we can hear him.
Okay, so now I'm muting him, and that's good. I think now we can.
So unmute him just for the time being until he starts getting into his edit.
Music.
So it seems like he's okay.
And no, I've totally broken that. All right, so that doesn't work.
Well, how's that? I just said, so it seems like he's okay. And his next sentence was, well, I've totally broken that.
Totally broke it. No, now I'm back to listening to you.
Do you not
I need to send you. No, you know what I need to do? I just need to send you somewhere that I can plug headphones into and throw behind the desk because.
Oh, you know what? You're with a Mac Pro, right? Where is your headphone coming from?
Through an audio interface that I'm listening to.
Okay, but the Mac Pro has also an audio out. Just plug in anything on the audio out, and you're gonna have the external headphone as an option.
Yep, exactly. All right, let me find that.
Yeah, that's actually. Oh, I can't show on camera, but I have basically a cable coming from the back of the Mac Pro to my desk, so I can easily plug in the headphones. So that activates that output, and I always have the external headphones available there. And I just want to acknowledge everyone that's connected here. Thank you for connecting and going through this experiment with us. There are a lot of people from Brazil. There is people from a podcast called Sala VIP. That's basically an editor's podcast. Amazing guys that are there. And we have.
Why don't you go to the 2 up until Joseph gets his
yeah, of course,
comes back.
And Chad is here with us as well. Chad was saying that
Chad
the
from
sync
Office
here is
Hours?
very good. Yes.
Hey, Chad.
Chad from Office Hours. And Chris W was asking which B-links I'm using here. I'm using the Geminis with 8 gigabytes
I'm talking
RAM.
to Joseph as test to Joseph, test to Joseph. Test to Joseph. Is this a test to Joseph? Test to Joseph, test to Joseph. Can you hear me on the red headphones or the black headphones? I am speaking to Joseph, speaking to Joseph. We are testing the audio thing. Nothing worse than trying to do an audio test when somebody just stops talking in the middle of the audio test and you think that something is working or not working, but then you find out, no, that person just stopped talking. So I'm going to continue to talk to Joseph.
Let's make him special and put it in between us here.
Yeah, I'm talking to you. I'm talking to you. I'm talking to you. Talking to you. We're taking up your time.
Well, I guess I've successfully gotten rid of your audio. I can't even pull it up manually now, but I guess it's working. So I don't hear you anymore, which is what I want. And I hear my system. So I think at this point, I'm about as good to go as this is going to get.
Felipe, drag.
So I'm just going to go ahead and continue and hope that this is actually working. All right. So
Joseph, here's a test. Can you hear me now through Discord?
Here's the deal. My plan here is to edit a video, actually the next A10 mini tip that I've shot. The reason this is going to be reasonably interesting, at least in my fragile mind, is because of the amount of camera angles involved. So I did a shoot. So the video is specifically about how to bring different
Felipe,
inputs into an A10 mini, and I had the A10 mini Extreme ISO on loan from Blackmagic to do this. And I shot it
audio hijack
kind of a crazy way. So I have 4 primary cameras on my setup. This is all done out in the main studio for those who've seen those shows before. This is the wide, people saying my audio is okay. Chris W, Bug Bob, do me a favor, just confirm that you're hearing me okay now and that this is all working as it's supposed to. I had the wide shot on me and then the tight shot. So those 2 camera angles and an overhead, and those are all time code synced, and that's easy. And then I had an over the shoulder shot, which would normally be time code synced with everything else, but I shot it separately in 6K so that I had an extra bunch of resolution to punch into. The edit's actually only going to be 1080p.
You can't turn
him
me
to go close to
because
the iPad or something else that I hold up in my hands. So that's 4 camera angles. And then I'm actually working on the A10 mini Extreme ISO, good Lord, and have a bunch of inputs going into there, laptop, iPad, a bunch of other stuff. Okay, audio is confirmed to be good. Thank you guys. And
this is the look that Felipe has when he's
in the ATEM doing the switching there. I'm recording. I recorded out of the ATEM, which recorded the ISO. So I have all 8 inputs coming in that are recorded as ISO, which I probably am not going to use, to be honest. However, I also recorded the program as part of the ISO package, which I will use, and I recorded the. I captured the what do you call it? The multi-view, which I definitely didn't use. So I've got 4 cameras. Plus the multi-view, plus the program from the ATEM, plus the 8 inputs from the ATEM, which I'm probably not going to use, plus screen captures from the Mac and from the iPad, which all need to get integrated in.
Oh, I see.
I've only started to organize the footage, so I'm actually going to start with that. It's one long take. Thank God I didn't have to do like 20 different takes for this. So it's fairly linear edit, but I need to start by getting everything lined up and organized. So that's what we're looking at. So let me just clean up my screen.
We probably should have set up a whole separate meeting for him to dial into.
Let's see here.
And then that way we could have adjusted his level.
Hide this, kill that.
Instead of putting him into this call.
He's getting ready to do his edit. I just muted him, so he's going to start getting to that point. There is one last thing that I wanted to show here. Since you commented about audio hijack.
Your audio hijack. Yep. It's crazy town.
This is what we have here. On the simple side of things, we have my microphone going to an output that goes to the Blackmagic Extreme. So that goes
what is that input
YouTube.
Switch? Hold on. What is that input switch, Chicklet? Is that just to mute something?
Yes, you can use to change between 2 different inputs, but I use it as an
I've never seen. That's very cool.
Yeah.
I've never seen that in Audio Hijack. Sorry for interrupting you.
So here is basically my microphone going to the ATEM that goes into YouTube. Then I have Zoom going to the ATEM, going to Zoom, going to YouTube. Sorry, this is my microphone chain. So I have a microphone, volume. Then I have some noise remover, reverb remover. I can take a look at my levels here. That is in a completely different monitor. So these are the levels that it's currently registering here. And this is good for me because sometimes I kind of scream a little bit. And on the back here, I have the monitoring for Zoom. So I'm monitoring Discord on my left ear. And then I have Zoom on my right ear. And both of them coming to my headphones.
So Felipe, a comment is coming in through the chat from Chris W. He says, what if we bring Joseph in via the comms only?
That's what I thought when I made that face. I'm like, oh, here it is. What I think is going to be a good idea. But the problem with that is that I would have to mix his comms into my microphone for you to hear it.
No, you wouldn't. I can turn it up here also.
Yeah. Yes. Well.
But
I can. I already have the route to do that. So we could, but I think we can experiment and take a look. Let's take a look at what he's doing here on his screen.
Yeah, let's. So what I know that he was just doing is he was just showing us all the various media that he has, all the angles that he has. Let's open up his audio for a second and try and catch up.
Okay, let's get his audio in.
Okay, let's go get my Is anybody else who uses what's it called? Uses a Stream Deck find that if you hide this window, then when you switch between Stream Deck and Companion, your buttons reset back to the Stream Deck original buttons. I have to leave this open or else the buttons don't behave on my Stream Deck, which is super annoying. Anyway, let's go to the dual screen layout.
I know what
that a thing?
Go to AMT.
Yeah, it is. I use
These are all
either
test
Stream
files
Deck
that I did
application
before. In fact,
or
I'm just going
Companion.
to
I
start
don't
a
use
new one
both at
here.
the same time at the moment. I used to use them at the same time. I had a profile just for Companion.
Get a new one, AMT 008.
So
okay,
he has a library that has some missing
Just bring
files.
in all
I
the
believe
footage.
that
So
is
beast.
Chat is trying to school you in the chat on how we could have set this up.
Video files.
Oh my God,
So
there are
I
a lot of
need
messages there. Hold on, let me get everyone to be able to read these
yeah, I'll
messages
just go ahead
here.
and bring all those in.
So
as well
this was the first
as
one. Can't
from
you
the
just
screen
bring the
recording.
audio
There's everything,
down
leave files in
from the
place,
pin
don't care
machine?
about labels.
Okay, that's
Important, away we go.
All
right, so there's everything in there. Now I'm going to do a little bit of
like one of my teenage daughters.
yeah, I
not
guess I
at
should
all
do a little bit of
reluctant
angle
to talk
naming in
right
here.
over
Let
someone
me do this.
else.
I'm going to switch back to a single
Thanks, Chad.
tile layout.
Okay, Joseph is just setting up his view there. And then, of course, can you pull yours and Chris out of comm and drop Zoom audio? So I can show you guys what I can do here.
So yeah, what Chris is saying is it possible to take my audio and your audio out of comms and broadcast that, and then that way Zoom is just Joseph that we can duck or go full screen on?
Yeah, we can definitely do that. So let's do it that way. I'm going to send your audio coming from Discord.
So I'm going to open up my mic in Discord. I'm talking to you on Discord.
Okay,
we'll
so
talk
this
on
is the Discord one.
That may have been the solve. And
okay.
What do we got here? So Joseph has a desktop full of gear. He's brought in his footage. I'm going to assume he's going to build a multicam. Checking. Can you hear me, Felipe?
Yeah, I can. I'm just setting up the...
So right now, Felipe is deep into his Audio Hijack patch bay. Audio Hijack on the Mac is a really fascinating tool. What I've at the beginning of COVID, I sort of made a commitment that I was going to do everything quote unquote in the box. I wasn't going to, add a bunch of mixers and whatnot and all that, which is the way I would normally have done all of these types of things. And as it turns out with Audio Hijack, you can actually build yourself an application mixer if need be inside your Mac and just build it out. It's a little odd because it goes left to right and not up and down, but that's essentially what Felipe is trying to do right now.
All right. So that was a great idea.
I guess
now we have his feed going to the live.
If I need these, I'm going to pull them up
stream.
later. I really don't think I'm going to need them, and so I just don't
I
want to confuse things. So I'm going to leave that out.
Lower his volume.
Okay. So let's make sure I got this right. There's angle
and
1. There's angle
that
2.
volume now is much lower. He is very much in the back, so we can hear very lower. Chris, on your side, you're gonna just have to lower that slide for the Zoom call on your route on Audio Hijack.
So what I'm gonna do then is I'm gonna actually,
and because some have time codes, some don't, I'm going to do a multicam clip.
I might have to do some because I'm still getting Joseph full audio here because I'm listening to Zoom. So I'm gonna start up my Audio Hijack.
Put it in 1080p, and I'm just going to let it
send
use audio for sync.
So one of the questions here is you have both streams open at the same time. Which one you're supposed to hear? If you want PhotoJoseph's original version of it, just listen to his. But if you want to hear our commentary, which we are trying to catch up to it, then just listen to ours, but don't do both at the same time. Chris is showing there his Audio Hijack.
Yeah, so what I'm trying to do here...
Okay, I'm going to jump over to the comments.
And I'm not hearing...
This is cool.
Okay, so for you to hear PhotoJoseph, output from Zoom, his audio is coming through there, correct?
To the commentary view of this, where you can get a little bit more context.
So I now have Joseph and I can duck Joseph.
Here is the multi-view thing that I just made. It obviously did not.
But what I also want to do, and it's going to go out of my window here for a second, is I'm going to add another device, which is disk app.
Else lined up. Oh, good. Everything else lined up nicely.
Yeah, Chad has a great comment here about having each one on a breakout room. And then have mixed minuses there. Yeah, it would make my Audio Hijack routes a lot bigger.
Wow, this is a lot.
It will be a little crazy to look at, but totally possible. And I think next time we can definitely do it that way.
D, in the beginning of that, we can see the time code on the iPad if I cleverly got out of its way.
That's true, Chad. That's exactly what not to do in terms of audio, not being able to separate the audio. Yeah, that's true. But on the other hand,
I'm using that
for this experimental live stream, we wanted to worry more about getting all the video in and see if that would be good or not. And
Felipe, are you talking into Discord at all? I don't think
Oh, yeah,
you are.
I'm not. Sorry. Yeah.
Oh, wait, what did I say? 1623?
Let me switch on myself here on Discord, so then you can actually hear me.
I didn't start it. Shit, I started it before.
And now can you take yourself out of Zoom and still be broadcasting?
Ooh,
yes, I can. I can be muted on Zoom and still broadcasting. I can look at my feeds there. Yeah, everything is still fine here. So now you hear me only once, right? Instead of none or twice. Okay, so let's get to the commentary
I hear myself twice, actually.
You hear yourself twice.
That's my fault. It's, I think.
Okay.
I'm not entirely sure.
I see what Joseph is doing right now. He is synchronizing all of his camera angles, and he is synchronizing manually. Actually, not 100% sure why, and I think that's what we're here for, right?
Yeah, I think part of the reason why he's doing it that way is that he is he's pulling in sources from so many disparate things. He's doing screen grabs, he's doing camera feeds, he's doing overheads.
Yeah, so not all of them are going to have audio. Not all of them are going to be timecode gem synced.
Okay.
But he recorded the timecode on all of them, at least visually speaking. So he is grabbing all of those.
So that's lined up. The computer, did the computer have audio? Oh, that's the program out. Oh, the program. Right, the multi-view in the program did not have audio.
Okay,
So
we're very quiet for people that are supposed to be commenting.
It's interesting that it actually dropped them.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out. My audio is still a little weird, but it's okay.
So I'm gonna have to do this.
Okay, so PhotoJoseph, I'm gonna put his screen completely on full screen here for me, and I just want to take a look a little bit on his Final Cut
so you guys should be able to
layout. Obviously, using just one monitor. Everything has names that are easy to recognize, right? He has his 8M Extreme ISO recordings from
did you hear that? He just commented that he had an audio clap for
that was actually really close.
some sync stuff.
Interesting. Maybe there is audio.
I'll tell you one thing I like to do when I'm recording stuff is I'll make instead of just a clap, I might do like something that is going to look very distinct in the audio waveform. Yeah, and I might do 3, or you can do like.
Oh yeah, I definitely do 3 actually.
Nice.
Yeah.
The other comment that I was going to make here is that he could be using the waveforms bigger, and now he just did that, so it's a little bit easier to see everything.
Okay, so there's my first clap.
You could tell everybody to sing the beginning of, hey Mickey, you're so fine, you're so fine. Hey Mickey.
Another thing that's also important when you're shooting, right, is having the person clap in the end as well. So then you can ascertain if there is audio drift. And it makes things a little easier. And for those who are old, like, I'm not old, so it's not for me.
Felipe is talking about me.
In a lot of sets, you also flip the clapper upside down and end of the
end slate.
Yeah.
Boom. So I am just.
But I don't see that happening very often, actually.
And I think that is now in sync. Let's see.
That's because us old people didn't train you young people well.
Yes, it's all your fault, right? No, of course not. Okay, so look at his screen. He recorded all the angles on his Extreme. So he has camera 1 through 8. He has program. He also has multi-view. He probably recorded the multi-view from a 810 ISO, the 810 mini ISO, to record his multi-view, basically connecting the second output of the Extreme to the 810 ISO, send that to that output, the multi-viewer. What else he recorded there?
Fenwick, since you're listening, here's a problem that I've had before, and tell me if you know how to fix this. Okay, I don't know how to hear you. Here, I'm going to turn your audio back on so I can hear you, because I want.
He's going to come talk to us.
Go for the 3 up.
There we go. I think. Oh, you're muted, Chris. Can you unmute yourself? How are you
no,
muted?
we're talking.
Okay, let me. I'm going to unmute you there. Okay, talk to him.
I'm talking to you now, Joseph.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, so you figured out that if you could mute yourselves on Zoom, then I don't have to hear you. So that's better.
The amount of stuff that Felipe's done is crazy over here. So
okay, so I can leave you. I can leave you unmuted, so you can just interrupt me in my ear then.
Okay.
Is that right? Okay. Perfect. Okay. So Chris, here's the question that I have for you. So you saw when I did the multicam, obviously one of them was way out of whack. We understand why. I moved it back into place, but now I have this massive gap in the front of my multicam timeline, and I've never quite figured out how to get rid of that.
Select all, drag to the left.
But that'll, because there's time code aligned with the multicam file itself. I get maybe that doesn't matter. Let's see.
It doesn't really.
Two different things that you can do, right? It's a good moment to use the reject option from Final Cut, so you can reject all the beginning of the multicam.
No, it's okay, sure, gotcha. That would work. Okay.
And then your clip would start at the beginning of the good stuff.
True. Okay, you're just saying they'll just grab this whole thing and just slide it all down.
Yeah.
The time code is a unique thing. You could reset your time code if need be. If you have notes that you need to refer to.
I don't, but I don't want to mess with the time code, because you never know when that'll come back to haunt you. So I guess Felipe's version is probably a good way to do this. It is odd, isn't it, that happens? So let me go back to there's that. And it's all the way at the very end there. There we go. Select that, delete that, and then, yeah. Okay, I guess that works. Cool. All right, excellent.
He's pretty smart. I trust him pretty well.
Definitely. Let me take a quick look at my chat room.
How
big is the total size?
We're going to go check our chat room then. Fine, you do that.
Jordan's asking how big is the total size of the project. Let's see here. AMT8 right now is coming in at almost 600 gigs. This is a big one. I don't usually do quite this big, but this is a big one.
No, yeah.
There's a lot of angles. That's 600
Yeah, it's
gigs.
because I had
Bug Bob says hard to watch both channels. The
Zoom
guy's audio does not sync with yours.
Stream, right? So once you started talking there, I still had
I think what you might want to do
stream
is,
as well.
if you're trying to get ours in sync, is you might have to pause one of ours and pause it, unpause.
Now I have to switch on Discord again, lower PhotoJoseph so we can hear each other, and make sure that you're muted on Zoom. So it's pretty manual. This is the type of thing that's good to have.
They hear us. We hear you the whole time.
The audience.
Sometimes we're ducking you so that we can talk over you because we're more interesting than you are at that particular moment.
And the audience, your audience does hear me on your channel, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so for anybody watching on my channel who does want the commentary and the out of sync is bugging him, just mute mine because you'll still hear me through theirs. It won't be perfectly in sync, but I guess that's up to you how you want to handle it. This is
but it's editing. What is sync when you're editing? It's just
what's sync all about? Oh, which actually reminds me, I forgot to check that, and I remember that there was an issue we were going to troubleshoot, but we didn't. You're not actually hearing me and my video in sync. I'm going to just add a few frames of delay in there. It just has to do with how I'm capturing the screen.
It's coming perfectly in sync here. So your video.
That's coming in on
I have to talk to him on
is that right?
Actually, your video is coming perfectly in sync for us.
You're seeing the video and the audio from the video in sync on your end?
Your camera, yes. The video, we don't know yet.
Right. Now I'm talking about the video. My camera is fine, and I'm not going to change that. I'm just going to add a few frames of delay here. Let's see here. Let's go in and just try it out. So here I'll go. Where's a larger view so you can actually see the clap?
Okay, now let's see
the clap in here. Yeah. Okay, so here, tell me if this looks like it's in sync. Actually, let me go ahead and add LUT to these for now so that you're not looking at log footage. I have a custom LUT for this. Where are you? Version 2, is that right?
Okay, having Chris back, his audio back from Discord.
Oh yeah, we're 7. Yep, 7 or 9. There it is. Okay.
Yeah, I'm still
right there. We go. So let's see.
And now let's check. We're gonna check now the sync to see if we're getting the sync well.
Let's get the right channel up.
Yep.
From PhotoJoseph.
So I'm expecting this to be out of sync for you guys.
Okay, so we're expecting.
We don't
to
see
it,
Joseph.
We're gonna do it.
Let's see.
We only see you, Joseph. But that's
I'm sorry. Thank you.
I wouldn't worry about the sync on our end that much.
I know. I'm trying.
Make sure it's
just
right
just
for
here.
you.
Well, it is right for me, but just here to see how this is. Right here.
Do it one. It's great.
I do touch my hands just so you know. I kind of went like this to get ready and then clap. So the first time my hands come together is not the clap.
So you were aiming.
I was aiming. Here, I'll do the second one where I don't aim.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Actually, your audio is behind.
So yeah, I see the smirk in your face. You're like, you're an idiot, but it's sure it's close enough.
It's like that's good enough.
Actually, your audio is behind, so you can remove the delay.
Remove the delay. Okay.
Yeah.
So take it out completely. Let's try it again. Are those?
Yeah, that's better.
Is it? Oh, okay. All right. We're just gonna leave it there. Okay. Back to work now, folks. All right. Mute thyself, please. Thank you.
So ducking PhotoJoseph, so bringing Chris back in.
The actual edit, I think the multicam's all ready to go.
Wow.
So you should still be able to hear me. Yeah, it is complicated for sure. And I will tell you that on my end, my audio experience is pretty dreadful because I hear myself. I think I'm hearing myself back from Zoom, but also locally, and so I'm getting a little bit of a flange.
Okay,
but
there's my dual screen workspace. So
yeah,
this is how I
so
normally would work.
Let's see what he's looking at.
It's because you're listening to Discord and Zoom at the same time, no?
Multi-view.
Yeah, I guess. But I need to hear Zoom because that's where Joseph is.
Oh no, yeah, but I'm not talking.
Right, and I'm just going to show you that one.
And you hear yourself.
Okay. Well, now we start. Let's just
okay.
And and for some reason Discord is hard panned to my right, but I don't have you on a panner.
So I always make the waveform big, and I like to make the whole timeline really big.
Well.
See, I remember I walked in and out of this.
But I'm actually quite curious here to see what he is doing.
Yeah, what I was going to say is, for a second there, he showed us a two up where we could see both of his screens. And what Joseph has done is he's put all of his browsers and bins on his secondary display. And on his primary display, he has his timeline, his multicam viewer, and his program viewer.
So, quick question here. Would you have done this way? He brought his whole multicam there, and then he looked for where he started, and then he trimmed the head.
He's asking us a question. You can turn it up just a little bit, Joseph.
Okay, we'll do that. Okay, let's see how this is.
We clearly should have experimented with this.
I'm going to run through everything that's in here right now, and then we'll go back.
Video and audio in sync. We're getting some comments here that everything is fine. Oh my god. I don't know how you guys are dealing with us doing this here, this experimental thing, but it's actually quite cool that there is a whole streaming going on with PhotoJoseph showing his screen and working on his edit. And he told me that, oh, you know what, I'm not going to be commenting over my edit because I want to get it done.
He's asking me a question.
But I am planning to do a lot of split view picture-in-pictures and so on. So I'm just going to duplicate this and have that as a second channel to keep in sync with the bottom one, which that in itself will sometimes be a challenge, but so that I can cut to a different angle on this one. So like, for example, here I want to cut to an angle.
I wouldn't do that.
What is it? Angle 8.
Yeah.
To bring up the multi-view.
Yeah, because he wants to have side-by-side of both angles at the same time. What I would do, I would bring in
3%.
A copy only when needed.
That off to the side here.
Me personally.
Well,
let's
I
say
see what he's doing.
The math on this. What am I looking for? Half of 1920? No, not half of 1920. That'd be 720. It's half of 1920, half again. That's it, 480. That's what I need in here. Perfect.
You see how quickly he did that, pulling up the calculator, just using Spotlight? That was pretty clever.
There we go. And then the video of me. So I'm going to cut to that in a moment here. Let's see.
So he's doing a two up, like a picture-in-picture with like the DVE from.
Yeah.
Almost.
And while we're doing that, I'll talk about.
I don't know. So
here's what I would do.
Yeah.
What I would do, and this is how, not what I would do, but how I actually do it, is I'll build a multicam with all of the sources I know and
and at this point, this one's also
camera A, camera B, two up, whatever. He's obviously got a much more complicated. Then,
side of the screen.
Oh, and the important thing to remember is that by doing the two up, I'm putting a compound clip inside of the multicam, which is kind of cool. When you start thinking about what you can get out of that, kind of blows your mind.
And then I'll start cutting.
Right?
If I get to a point where I say, like what he's done, ooh, what I'd really like is my my multi-view and
so this part of it, I'm just figuring out how I want to put it together. So you're going to start
open up the
moments of
multicam
silence
viewer.
while I just think through.
I build a new angle and I do what he's done here. Should we interrupt him and tell him that?
Nah, I think it's too early for us to start interrupting him
at this point.
No, but it might be a good time to interrupt.
Program.
If you give us $100 in the super chat, we'll interrupt you.
All right, also have to change the size of that here.
I think I might do it. I'm going to jump in because he did say, I don't know how you would do this.
I'm going to save a little preset, save an effect.
Okay, I'm going to do it.
This.
Okay, go ahead.
This is.
Hey, Joseph.
Right? Yes, sir.
So you asked how I would do this, and we were just discussing, and since we received enough money in our super chat, we opted to interrupt you. No, what we would do differently from what you've done here is when I hit a point in a multicam edit where I decide there is a configuration that I would like to have, I pause for a moment, I open up the multicam editor, I create a new angle, and in that angle, I put a compound clip of what you've just created here in the timeline. So now this look that's in your viewer is yet another angle in your multicam. And now I can go to it as many times as I want.
Right. Interesting. Okay. I like that. I think I'm going to not do that this time just because
I get that you have a workflow that you want to get through, but you had asked what we would do.
No, it's a great approach. The only reason I'm saying that I probably wouldn't do it for this one, I like that approach, is just because I don't know if I'll ever even come back to this one. And I'm going to I don't know how I'm going to edit this yet. How many different 2-ups, 3-ups, 4-ups I need to...
real quickly. I find that if it's easy to go to, there will be many times I will go to it that I would not have gone to it if it was hard to go to.
Right. Yeah.
Anyway, we'll leave you alone, let you get back to it. But that's how we would approach what you're doing right now.
Got it. I like it. Okay, thank you.
Now,
all right, so I just saved
that worked okay.
Now,
what do you call it?
What I would
effect preset
do differently.
Drop on
it's a great approach to do that. I would actually edit the A row first.
Set this one to
put markers where it is that I want to come and add the 2-up and etc. Because then it's right in between what you just said. If it's easy, I will use many times. If it's hard, I will not. But I don't know if it will be easy or hard, so I mark on the way of the edit. And
here's my thought on that.
Oh, there is 8 times that I wanted to.
That's totally different.
But see, here's my thought on that. Yes, you would get through. You would become more familiar with your material, which is always good. But quite often we're dealing on a extreme stressful. Like I just got to get through this.
Okay, let me jump into the multicam.
It's kind of like what we are doing here today. Part of the reason why Felipe and I wanted to do this broadcast today is to do, to borrow a term from Mickey on office hours, we're doing reps. Like, let's set up a show and try and do this. And just in the last 51 minutes, we've learned an enormous amount about what we should have done different. So we'll do this again and do it better. So we're doing reps.
Oh, okay. So
once you make a couple compound clips and put them inside your multicam,
that's why
it's drop dead simple. And so you'll just get better at it. And the pause that it takes to say, yeah, I'm going to build another view, it's like a minute.
Do it by eye.
It's not hard.
Right. So
no, sure. But it will be a minute in the beginning, and it will be a minute in the end.
And let's find a frame in the multi-view.
Yeah, but
in the beginning,
but you're deciding whether or not you want to make the multicam based on how many times you're going to use it. Even if I only used it once, I'd make a multicam for it.
Okay.
No, yeah, but for example, you might discover that you have 3 different angles that you want to build by the end of your A roll edit, right?
Oh yeah, this is so that's the first frame
I have
multi-view where the program shows up.
Generally, I like
I would just pause when I decide
assembly
I need
line. I have an assembly line method sometimes is, for example, if I need to copy paste things, I copy paste instead of doing copy paste, go edit a little bit and then copy paste again and do a little bit more. I try to get all of the actions that, let's say, work inside the multicam all at once and then move on to something else, then opening and closing multicam. But again, I guess it really depends on the project and, like you said, how much pressed for time you are. But depending on how much pressed for time you are, you need to get that A row cut. And like, oh, now I have half an hour left. What else can I make this better? No?
I think I did that right.
So you disagree with me? That's okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's
a good point.
On his side of things, he is not. It's not a video for a client, right?
Perfect. Okay, that's.
Oh, look! Do you see what he just did there?
Let me grab him.
He double checked his sync by noticing,
and the program was off, right?
Edit happened in the multicam and in the program feed. I would imagine there might be a frame delay in there, so he might be syncing it wrong, possibly.
Yeah, and that's the challenge with this edit specifically, right? He has a multicam that's looking to a multi-viewer,
which is correct.
And
slice that.
He might end up seeing a 1 frame delay here and there between the angles. I actually never stopped to take a look if there is a frame delay between the inputs on the ATEM when you're switching them or something like that.
The camera. Perfect. I've got just a BGH1 here plugged in, so I'm just straight HDMI into this.
Okay, great.
And the other thing that's important there with what he did, he created a duplicate of the multicam, right? But he had to mute that multicam
and switch this one
to make sure you don't have double audio coming in.
Yep.
Which now is to go back to default. So now I need a default position for this.
It's another thing here. Where do you think he's getting the audio from? From which angle? Do you think he already went through that and chose which?
So he just did about 5 clicks that he wouldn't have had to do. 4 or 5 clicks that he wouldn't have had to do if he just made an angle of it.
if this gets to be
Did you see that?
manage.
Yeah.
Right.
Because when he cut back to the primary timeline, he was like, "Oh, I got to default this. Reset that.
Yeah.
Reset that." You know. And now he's going to have to scroll
And
back to
deactivate the
this
top one.
instance,
So I guess at this point,
and he had to deactivate the top one. And now you're just doing like an old school, quote unquote, multicam stack, where it's like, "Oh, which one of these layers do I want to turn on?"
And then it kind of defeats the purpose of the multicam, right? And all of the advantages
So
of the multicam.
hold on, he did 1 click, 2 click, 3 clicks, 4 clicks.
He's gonna kill us.
5. He's
back to 7.
now he's gonna cut there.
Okay, here, Fen, here's another one for you. So I've got 2
here we go.
multicams stacked.
We're getting called in.
If I hit my keyboard shortcut, you know, the number pad to switch angles, it's always wanted to switch the top one, even though I have this one selected. Like I hit 7 and it just switched the top one, not the bottom one.
So what I hear you saying, Joseph, is that you should have done this gimmick the way I told you to do it. That's what I'm hearing. I'm sorry. Was there something else I'm supposed to be listening to?
Wow.
I'm literally, I got a tally going on extra clicks you're doing that if you had just done it my way, you would have saved. But yeah, that's a way to do it.
The way to do it.
I think what you're seeing is that the multicam keyboard shortcut is going to default to the top multicam.
Right.
Even if you have the lower one selected. So what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to right click on either the top or the bottom and then select the angle that you want.
So I'm not missing anything other than doing it your way.
It's interesting that you bring that up.
Wow. I knew this was a bad idea.
Joseph, do you use the
tell us,
C
just
as a
tell
shortcut?
us. Just tell us when you want us to leave.
Oh my God. Okay. All right. So back to that. Yeah.
Okay. This is. Oh my God.
Yeah. Oh, I have to cut it first. Yeah. Doing that by hand is definitely tedious. You are certainly accurate about at least one thing today.
Right. Nothing fancy here. It's just my camera input. Now we go to camera 2. Camera 2 is my laptop.
It is interesting to see how a flexible tool gets to be flexed.
Blade that, hide that.
When different users use it.
I switched your audio a little delayed here. We just missed you saying that we are 3 power users doing this.
I mean,
yeah. Actually, for the rest.
Let me put it this way: I have an enormous amount of respect for Joseph. I've known the guy for years. He's super smart. I have an enormous amount of respect for Felipe. I have a fair amount of respect for myself. No, I'm just saying that with 3 different users approach this 3 different ways, and when you take a flexible tool,
and obviously I may
various users, they're going to flex it differently.
For anybody who's like, that's not a very good edit point. At this point, it's really about roughing it in, and I will always go back and refine that later.
The laptops. I've got my MacBook Air here connected in on camera 2. On camera 3.
Okay, so
Chad says, "I love this. This is a great idea." I don't know exactly what this refers to, but
I think it's the whole show that he's referring to.
I think it's mostly just more Fenwick screen time.
I think so too.
That's what I'm hearing.
I'm gonna say this publicly because I already told you this way too many times and nothing has happened. We need more Chris Fenwick on podcasts or live on YouTube. And
watch me on
I'm
Office
gonna ask
Hours
this
every
to
morning.
this huge audience that is watching here is, do you guys agree we need more Fenwick? Because he does awesome interviews.
His comments 20 are people. I wouldn't call that a huge audience. That's like you called your family and I called mine.
They don't know that it's only 20 people. No, it's only 17.
Yeah, they do.
Oh no, it's 20. Okay, guys.
Hold on.
You're very
He's
nice.
talking. This sounds important.
I've got something called the mirror, which
Is he talking to us? No, that's his video.
I don't think so.
5. I have something called the mirror screen.
okay. Is that it?
I have something.
See, the other problem with doing what he's done, Chad says 3 different people will shut down 3 different ways. This is great that we get to see how 3 different people view a scenario.
Normally, I would
the
just
other
select
problem
and delete, but now I've got to worry
with
about
doing
my
what
top layer and
what
6,
Joseph has
so
done here
I'm
by
really
having
careful
these
about
multiple
how I
multi-cam
do
cam
that.
clips stacked is now if he does
So
do
I'm
a
actually
pull
doing this
up,
more
he's
like
got to
I
make
would
sure he's
with,
got to cut all the
screen
layers
flow.
and pull it all out. It's just
and slice just whole.
It's
columns.
definitely
I
a
will
lot of
say
work.
that
I've got something called the mirror.
I'll say this, Felipe. Is it on Twitter? Is it Timeline Tuesday? Is that where people
Yeah.
post pictures of their timelines? I always look at
I've got an
people's
iPhone.
timelines, and they're
I've got
usually a
something called
premiere
the mirror
timeline.
screen, which is a wireless.
I guess I cut
They're
too much.
huge, you know.
Five,
And
I have something called the
And
mirror.
I look
somehow
at
people
my
find that very
timelines.
fun.
My timelines
I
are
have something called the
boring.
Interesting. My keyboard responsive. I'm gonna plug it in. It's not as good as normal. I wonder if there's so much stuff going on.
Watch, he's gonna blame this on me.
We're killing his Mac Pro right now with so much stuff going on.
mirror screen.
Mimo Live is
Not
probably
doing that
taking like 500% of CPU.
I have something called the mirror screen. Which
Yeah, there we go.
Okay, let's see what he's doing there.
Oh, so he did. He had to do a
Five, I've
pickup,
got
a
something
pull up.
called the mirror screen, which is a
Okay, I'm just gonna overlap this a little bit to cover that edit.
Oh man, that's really hard.
on 5. I've got something called the
So this could have been an L cut
Correctly done.
on just the primary multicam.
Yeah, I mean, I've made my point. I think I could probably leave this call at this point.
What I wanted to. Oh,
Chris
right.
just called us family.
Separate. That's my problem.
Chad, we are family. Chad, you're
I
everywhere.
feel like I know
actually.
Chad, and he rarely talks on office hours.
AirPlay receiver.
I have never seen Chad.
Really useful.
Chad is an
And I highly
elusive
recommend you check this out. The next input
human being, probably. Right now, I don't know if he's a bot.
No, he's real.
He's real.
He's real.
Okay,
Yeah,
I haven't seen Chad.
Long keyboard
I have heard
right.
stories about Chad, but I haven't seen
Switch that back.
Chad.
I've given up. I've given up counting all the
The
clicks.
next input number
There's
6
just so many
is
extra clicks doing
HDMI.
it this way, Joseph.
The next input number 6 is
Do you know what I'm actually surprised is how much of the mouse that he uses.
You know what? I use a lot of. I
check one of these out.
No, nothing against the mouse. It's just
and I heard some against the mouse in the tone of your voice there.
Just a wireless camera.
sorry. What did
There's
you say?
another.
The next input number
What
6
I
is
heard
Okay,
was
I did that a couple
you
times.
were against the mouse. Oops.
No.
I need to take another call here. Hold on one second.
Okay, while you're on the call, let me know once you're back.
The next input number 6
I'm
is
gonna
Hololens
get
wireless
just me and the screen.
That
And the
is
thing is, what I was mentioning about the mouse that I was surprised is just the amount that he's using the mouse on the timeline. Not anything against the mouse. The mouse is very helpful in a lot of ways.
So actually, here's what I'm going to do.
For example, me personally, I use JKL a lot, and
number 7.
an up and down arrow to
instead of having
go
to switch back and
up,
forth,
back
I
to the
simply
previous cut point, and then JKL to speed through something.
Change that. That makes more sense.
In this case here, for example, selecting the bottom multicam, I would use C and then down. Down, no, it's command down.
There's no point
And
sticking around on
this
here for
way,
long, just nothing
I'm
happens.
able to move
So let's see
between
here.
the top one and the bottom one.
I wanna
So
cut to-
with
I
command
wanna leave that
right
up.
sides,
I guess
up
that's
and down, I can move through the tracks, and do those selections. And then of course, you have option left bracket, option right bracket to trim head, trim tail.
Streaming from my office over there that I just walked out of. And then finally on number
Yes, wow, this is definitely complicated. I'm with Fenwick on this one. That would have been easier to create that compound clip and add as an angle there.
and then finally on number 8.
Oh,
a very, very
Bug
interesting
Bob.
HDMI video
Bug
player.
Bobs. What is office hours? Office hours is a meeting that we have every single day for more than a year now on Zoom. It's generally
next, let me figure it out before I
20
jump out
to
here.
40 something people on the panel on Zoom and a couple hundred as an audience. And what we all do together is help each other out to learn about AV industry and computers and cloud. There are a lot of different subjects. So a lot of professionals there with a lot of experience sharing that experience. So for the very first hour, when we connect to office hours, we're just chatting, a little bit of update from each other.
There's strange kind
and
of
then
non-responsiveness
on
right now of my
the
keyboard.
second hour, which
Could
is
be
what we
because I
call
have
the first
9
hour,
screens,
because
8
the
screens
first
running
hour
here,
is
but
actually
also maybe
the
because I'm screen
pre
sharing and
everything.
pulling video feed off
Uh,
here, like doing 50
we have a
FPS.
chat that's
Although the
called
CPU
that's
is,
on a
it's
service
definitely
that
getting
Alex
its
Lindsay
workout today.
created called
60%
Mukana,
GPU's
and
full,
you send there any
RAM's half
questions
full.
that you
We're
may have
definitely able
about
to see the workout.
anything.
Okay, now
And
we're
the
starting.
panel
Let's
helps you
chat
out,
and
points you
go
in the
from
right
there to-
direction. And then if you think that you have stuff that you want to share with everyone else, you can come and join the panel every day at 6 a.m. Pacific on Zoom. Chad, maybe could you share with us the link to register to office hours here? I imagine that you probably have that very easy there with you. Yeah, it's an absolutely amazing group of people. On Discord, we have a Discord service for office hours. I think there is more
It's
like
annoying not being able
than
to use keyboard
500
shortcuts for
people
that,
there.
but
It
there we
has
go.
become really quite a network of
whoops.
people helping each other out,
probably gonna
and
actually split it. Yeah, that's
a lot of
super
people started
annoying.
working together. So
Okay,
I started working with
Okay, at this
a
point, I'm
group
wishing that
called
we
Talent
had
Pros
tracks in the
Live, and we
old-fashioned
are
way. I kinda
doing
wanna put this track at
live
the
events
bottom
for
now,
clients.
so
And of course, different than
let's
what
just
we are
take all
doing
of
here right
this,
now. And I
put it
think
straight
Chris
down,
Fenwick is
drag
coming
that down,
back
it's
to
aligned
us.
everything. Excellent. Undo that.
There he is.
Do it.
I think he's back. You back,
Bottom.
Chris?
Wonder if
Okay,
this
great.
will
I was
work
just
for
explaining what is
solving
office
my
hours.
sir.
top key
One of our
problem.
audience members had asked, and I did my best. I think I said all the right stuff there. It's a great group of people that
Let's
are
see,
there to
let's
help each other out
restores my sanity a
and
little
share
bit.
knowledge and network.
Now the laptop here is
Yeah,
connected over USB-C.
definitely.
Back up and talk about some other
It's been, in my opinion,
There we
office
go.
hours has been a transformative way to get through 2020 and beyond.
Can you
Been
tell
pretty
us
amazing.
a little bit, because what Joseph is doing right now is pretty much the same as in the beginning. So we already mentioned what we would have done in this case, and it's the same. So I think we can chat a little bit about a couple of other things. Can you tell our audience your analogy about video and audio and how you present yourself, and your analogy about the suit?
Oh, yeah. So this is going to happen for a while, and we might be getting toward the end of it. My fear is we aren't. But at any rate, a lot of us don't want to travel like we used to travel. I have basically said I don't plan on traveling anymore. I'm done. I just want to work from home. We're going to shut down our office permanently. There's clients I used to go to Hawaii for every year. I don't want to do that anymore. I don't care. Even if it means I might lose a few clients, I want to edit things that I can edit at home. So when you get the opportunity to present yourself in front of people, this is essentially the business suit of the 21st century. I quite often I'll tell people that, and I don't know if this is really germane to what we're doing here, but it's slightly interesting. If you go back 100 years, say the time of the TV show Downton Abbey, Lord Crawley, I think his name, or anyway, the main guy, the Lord of the Manor. This is a grown man who pays another man to dress him. So like when he gets up in the morning, he says, well, you're going to wear this to breakfast, and this is for the fox hunt, and some dignitaries are coming into town, and these are the different things, and to you and I, that sounds ridiculous. Do you have a man who lives in your house that dresses you every morning? No.
And undresses you as well.
Weirder. Let's not go there. I mean, I can tie a full Windsor with the best of them, even though I don't own any ties, but the idea of paying somebody to dress me is ridiculous. A year ago, you take any person that you put on camera and you have a guy to point the camera, sometimes somebody else to focus it. You have a guy or two or three people to light that person. You'd have one person come in and put a mic on them and adjust a boom. And there's all these different things. Somebody's going to come in and fix your hair, even you and I. there will be a day where, just as today, paying somebody to dress you in the morning sounds absurd. I think that there will be a day when somebody has to sit down and present to 10, 100, or maybe even 1,000 people. That to like pay a bunch of people to make you look good on camera is just going to feel weird. You know, maybe our grandchildren will go, really? You paid somebody to put a mic on you? That seems weird, Grandpa. Right? And so there is a certain skill level
now I gotta
that
switch over
has to happen.
The computer display, and let's hope that that's all synced up
Go back
correctly.
50 years to Don Draper. He paid Peggy Olson in the first few seasons to type his letters for him. Who types your letters, Felipe? You do. So times change.
Don't type letters anymore. Type emails.
And the idea of camera literacy is very important.
I've made this mistake so many times.
It is. Understanding camera light.
That's the
switch
sound.
The multi-camera set to switch video and audio.
Do you know what I'm actually quite impressed right now is that,
and I don't realize it until later, because the way that I record things,
your video is coming through Zoom, but your audio is coming through Discord, and it's nicely in sync.
But for the sake of
we're using separate services for those, and
then
I'm marrying them in a different application to send to another application.
From the
oh my god!
So what I
let's see what Joseph's doing.
Kind of the old thing was I'd have to go in here and select audio angle and change. Well, that's the right one. So here, let's go to here, like this one. Active audio angle is 3, it should be 1, and I had to go through one at a time to change these, because if you select multiple clips, you right click and go active audio angle, you can't change them. But then thank Twitter, somebody figured this out for me. If I go in and I select all of these, select
Command Shift
here, I can actually change it in the inspector, which is brilliant. Active audio roll 1.
That's super cool.
Now it's the right audio angle everywhere.
That is cool. I have done things where I've clicked through 20 different clips and it changed the audio angle.
I actually only change.
You might have when you connect a computer.
Hold on, I'm gonna tell. Hey, Joseph.
Yes, sir.
Super powerful tip. I did not
like
know
that one.
That's awesome.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah. That's because that was driving me nuts. I've had that problem so many times because I just forget to change it. I don't know why it defaults back to switching audio and video. So yeah, good. I'm glad that I could teach you something for a change. Huh.
Whatever.
That's like a first in
2 decades. All right, we'll leave you
learning Final Cut from you for 2 decades. So anyway, all right, moving on. Thank you. Right.
Well, that's what I was asking in the beginning. If he had already selected the audio channel that he wants to use from the multicam.
Felipe, this is why you are the future and I am the past.
No, of course not. But there is also another way of doing it. Selecting the same way that it says selected, but instead of the inspector on the eye, you could go to the sound, and actually it lists
so this
all
is
of
just
the channels, and then you can mix and match. You could have the left of angle 1 with the right of angle 2 being your audio.
I'm kind of like editing it in my head as I shoot, and I know if I make a mistake,
interlaced to you in your feed.
It does
around that, and so I'm kind of rewinding in my brain, thinking, how far back do I have to go to make a clean edit? Is this an angle change? Is it a camera angle change? Is it enough? Or in this case, that would be really awkward because I just changed to here. So I really need to start this whole passage over again.
So you and I get some more screen.
It's one of these things where I have to do it quickly. I really have to think through it quickly and just do it. And if I overthink it, then I will forget where I was. And then it's like, well, now I've completely lost the plot. So I need to, when I do this in my head, I'm keeping track. I rewind a couple seconds, try and pick up where I left off at a clean point. And if I do it too many times, I will lose the plot and just have to back way up just to make sure that I have something to edit from.
I agree.
And I know I did that at least once in here. I don't know if we'll actually see that today, but it does happen, unfortunately. Anyway.
Losing context.
Yeah.
So let's see.
Losing context in an edit is so easy. That's why a lot of times, I will say I prefer working at home because there's less distractions. Although, you get a Discord link or a FaceTime call on your phone or something. I guess there's still distractions, but being able to
but you can control a lot more.
You can.
I mean, you can control by closing the door to the office, to your office, if you do have a private one, which a lot of people don't. A lot of people are sitting in open offices, right? So that one, no more privacy, no more.
I will tell you, I've never had to
maximum
work
you
that
can
way.
do is put the headphones to signal like I don't want to be interrupted, but people still go there and do it.
Bother me at your own risk. I really hate it when you're like in the middle of a really complex motion graphics piece and somebody goes, I just need 5 seconds. And I'm like, you literally just took 45 minutes away from me because it's going to take me that long to get back to where I was. Like, how dare you?
It better be very important 5 seconds.
Yeah, nothing is 45 seconds.
Get out, escape.
What do they call that? They made reference to that in the Social Network movie. Oh, he's in the zone. Leave him alone.
Yeah,
he's in the zone. I think that's
Well, but that's true. There are researches about how long it generally, in average, takes for you to actually get in the zone, and how long it takes for you to go back into the zone and getting the best performance. And it's distracting.
It's just frustrating when you feel like you're.
Whenever I see a big
just
gap,
humming along,
I pretty much know that I must have messed up because I wouldn't have paused.
Hey, can I bug you? Ugh.
And then if I mess up once, odds are I did it again. So I'll scroll down the timeline a little bit.
So we already answered the what is office hours, right?
It's probably all right.
We did.
The comments have slowed.
The comments died completely. But people are still watching.
Broadcasting.
By default, the resolution will be
Yeah.
default for display.
Oh, look who's there. Guy is here. Hey, Guy. TV store with us. Yo.
I just saw it pop in.
Thank you for connecting. So nice to see you here.
Oh, I just got a nice little email from a client.
Do you know what I, for a moment, felt that Chris would ask of me right now? He was like, hey, we should bring in Guy into the call right now. No. Hey, run, add another computer, go pin an extra person. Hey, Guy, do you wanna join the call?
No, don't.
Does he add it?
No, because he'd have to be set up in Discord to be able to hear us.
That is true. Yeah, we did that complication with the audio.
Let's leave Sleeping Dogs Lie.
Doug is here as well. Hey, Doug. Wow, we could have a whole party going on here. And then I start thinking, I'm gonna need something that can do 8 super source inputs, 8 boxes at once. Oh, I need Zoom.
I just got the greatest email from a client. Very cool.
That's very nice.
You can tell by the way that I'm talking that I am kind of talking to myself here, not intended for the edit, and then the intonation of my voice totally changes here. So this is just a recap for myself.
I used to edit a lot of Joseph videos, so watching him edit his own video is very interesting.
You can totally.
So who you think it's more efficient editing his own videos, himself or you?
Sure where I lost the plot, so let me go back and watch this.
I would imagine himself, because like the comment he just made, he said, "I can tell by my intonation I'm talking to myself and not to you." So he's very acutely aware of that. So Felipe, I've lost track of what he did. Did he expose the audio? It looks like he's exposed the audio component in the upper multicam, but not the lower.
I think he decided to use the upper one as the main multicam and the bottom one as the secondary.
So that most of his edits could be, we did miss that. So most of his edits would just be simply cut.
Which generates a different set of issues, of course. I mean,
he just took a bunch of content out because he found a pickup.
Yeah, and the different set of issues is that now he's not on the magnetic timeline anymore.
There's a risk, and this is the kind of thing that
which he
too much
could create one.
I don't remember
but
the
it would
exact words that I
be
used here,
yet
so
another
now
set
kind
of
repeating myself in a
complications.
stupid sounding way. So I got to figure out if I can edit around that or if I just leave it.
This is a rough edit he's trying to do here.
Yeah. Just getting his speech down.
Click on scaled and see a variety of alternate resolutions.
I might have to just leave that one.
Do you know if he uses a script or if he's just
No,
talking from?
no,
Wow.
no. He just tops off the top of talks.
Yeah,
Okay,
I don't have that skill. I can't do that. I absolutely cannot do that.
I bet if you
So we're gonna cut that out.
practiced, you could.
Right now,
I don't know.
I'm just listening to dialogue.
Here's-
I'm not looking at
Maybe.
the
I'll
screen.
tell you the problem is that people try to be as smooth as people write a script hoping to be as smooth as Joseph,
Sadly, I'm
or
not
people
looking
like
back. Oh, I can
Joseph,
look back to the screen just now.
and
Wait, am I-
they can't.
No, not really. So
You
that's gonna be a
can't
little bit
write
sloppy.
like he talks,
But-
in my opinion.
Can't get everything right.
He's super good.
Let's face
I'll
it.
tell a quick story
Yeah,
about
Hollywood
Joseph that I've mentioned before.
Okay, so now I just
I've
need
been
to
shooting
actually
software
see
demos
clicking
since the
unscaled,
80s.
So
And there was a guy in the
that.
early 90s named
And
David
let's-
Barnes.
oops.
David Barnes
And
worked for IBM.
Just bring up another copy of this.
And David Barnes would travel around, do,
Place
you know,
Get rid
kind of
the
a
audio
dog
for
and pony
that.
show,
And
showing off the,
now I need
it
to
was an OS
select
called
this to
OS
see the actual
2
clicking unscaled.
from IBM. And OS 2 in the early and
Here we
mid
go.
90s
Oh, what have I done?
outperformed
Man, I really screwed the pooch on this.
Windows
Let's see.
95. It could do Windows 95 better than Windows 95 could. Okay. And David was a master of demoing this software. He was he was so good. He came to our studio once, demoed the thing, did a presentation for.
There we go.
I said, "You have an hour. When do you want your time cues?" And he goes,
Good.
"Give
Oh,
me
I
a
wanted to
3,
leave it up there
a
until-
5, a 3, a 2, and a 1." I said, "You want to talk for 55 minutes before you get a single time cue?" And he goes,
So leave that,
"Yeah,
and then
that's fine."
back to 1. All right, good.
"Okay."
It's not too bad.
We rolled the tape and we cued him and we showed him 5 minutes and he was wrapping up and then, you know, counting them
Okay, bring it
down and
back
he
up and watch that
finished.
again,
And
make
it was
sure it's okay.
it was an amazing interview or
Yeah.
a demonstration. But the problem was that the whole time he was talking,
So that's a little
he was
tight
selling
for this.
OS2 to a customer.
More space over this.
And our
They do
broadcast
lean towards the
was
screen. I wonder if I
to,
can steal
or
that.
our show, our taping, was designed for
So
sales
that must be where it
associates.
started to say
So it's a slightly different story.
yes.
I'm going to
Okay, so
teach
here's what
you
I'm
how
doing.
to
I
sell
am gonna
this
use
to a
that video.
customer instead of
Let's get rid of
I'm going to sell it to the customer.
this and pull that
So we started to try and figure out where we
so
wanted
that lines
to make
up.
an edit toward the end where he could wrap it
That's
up
what I'm
and
saying,
pitch
lines
it
up.
back to the sales associate.
Yeah.
And we went down to the studio and David said,
That should
I realize I'm telling this old time story.
see how that sounds.
So what Joseph was just doing
Put
there is he was
lines
lining up
this,
his 2 different
zoom
takes,
in.
looking at the waveform so he could get his intonation just
Yeah,
right,
that's believable.
changing between one and the other.
And up in here.
Well, I've met a
Space
speaker like that
these.
before.
Yes, I know there's
Every time that he
automatic
would come
there.
into the studio, you would get
That's
lost
believable.
in him, in how he was delivering his speech.
Yeah.
And his name is Omar Bosch. He was at that time he was the chief strategy officer for Accenture. Now he is the corporate vice president for cross industry solutions at Microsoft. That guy speaks so well, and a bunch of others as well. But him speaking was just mesmerizing.
Yeah.
I was behind the camera, and it was difficult to
Shoot.
not to
when
pay
you when you
attention,
wanted to
but
listen.
to shoot, is because normally I'm paying attention at framing, pacing, and etc. But I'm not really paying attention at content. And the content was just the way he was delivering was impossible to actually almost do my job. But he was so good that my job was done by itself in a lot of ways. It was incredible. What I tried to do is I tried to get
Okay, I'm
down
going
my
to probably cut
reading
there, but I am also
in a
going
way
to
that
just jump back over
feels
to the comments.
almost
Chris, you wanna just
natural,
come on and
but
say hi?
a
I'm gonna take
presentation.
slight break here while I look at the comments.
So I can do better.
So Joseph just asked us to, Joseph, we were just out here talking about how awesome you are at doing what you do, honestly. I was telling old stories. To finish up the story, this guy, David Barnes, when we told him that his pitch was slightly wrong, he said, well, let's just do it again. And he did the whole presentation again and just nailed it. But when I started working with Joseph, I always tease him. I say, "Yeah, Joseph, you're like the second best demo artist I've ever met."
You like doing that to me, don't you?
But what he does, and so what if somebody tries to write a script that sounds as smooth as Joseph giving a presentation, they can't do it because it's literally just flows out of his pores. You're really, I know you get embarrassed when I say that, but you're very good at what you do.
It's like you guys are gonna have to tone down the saturation on your feeds.
All right,
because you're all gonna
go back?
Blushing there.
Enough chatter. Let's go back. Cool. That was enough of a break.
Mute myself.
Okay.
There were a couple of questions. Actually, here I do want to address this. Someone says, "Why not just cut the bottom one and make a copy of the cut session on top line instead of constantly cutting the top?" Which I think
that's what I would have.
That's what I ended up doing. I just moved them over. I think that's what GHB was suggesting. Jordan saying too many compound clips slow down the machine. Yeah, I mean it happens, I suppose. And this is a lot of them, but also this is why I bought it.
You have plenty of machine.
Yeah, well, that's why I bought this thing, so I could do this sort of thing, because I do multicam all the time, and a lot of it's in 4K. So I don't have the patience, and I decided that my time was worth spending the money on. Anyway, there we go.
Okay. I think one thing to keep in mind right now is that his computer is encoding several streams of 4K while decoding several streams of 4K at the same time. So that's what's getting his machine probably a little bit more sluggish. Zoom it's kind of efficient right now, but it's Zoom, it's Mimo Live, encoding to YouTube, it's encoding to here.
The frustration of my voice is I screwed that up yet again.
If your mini is set to if your A10 mini is set to 1080p 2997,
okay, good.
He's really good.
I actually got it that time. And back to where was I?
If you're
yep.
I'm never able to deliver a speech like that to a video and make sense without a script. Well, I used to do without a script, but I had to repeat so many times.
But the problem is when you do write it down, all of a sudden, unless you rehearse to an amazing level, you're always going to sound like you're reading them.
Not necessarily, I think. And I would just say why. At least if I'm writing the script for myself, I have a general idea how I would say it or how I would like to say it. So when I'm writing the script, I'm actually speaking it in my mind as if I would be recording the video. So I'm basically transcribing my presentation and put it into words. That just make sure that I'm not going to be making a lot of mistakes or less mistakes than I would if I didn't write down all of that. And then I try as much as possible. I can send you later a video in which I was reading from the prompter, and you tell me if it's good or bad. I think it's okay. The first ones were rough. But then it got a little bit better.
Once that's set, you should never.
Yeah, I guess.
But then again, some people have talent, some others don't. I don't, so I have to cheat in a way, and the script is a way of cheating.
Just switch over to.
What's really interesting is when, because my preference would be, or my preference is, if I'm doing something where I'm trying to give a presentation or a demo, I won't use a script. But then as I'm cutting it, I'll see where I should have. Or I could have made something a little bit better.
Next, let's look at the arrangement. I currently have this set up.
Exactly.
See what he's doing here.
So
I was just watching that briefly. Too. I'm gonna put his edit on full screen. Get rid of our faces.
Oops.
And once you've set that, you should never have to set it again because the Mac will remember the last device it was connected to. Next, let's look at the arrangement.
His feed's coming to us interlaced. I don't know why.
Than me looking down and then cutting back to me.
Finding it automatically, you can change these manually. And once you've set that, you should never have to set it again because the Mac will remember the last device it was connected to. Next, let's look at the arrangement.
I don't love it, but
I currently have this set up as a dual display arrangement. But if I click on mirror displays, then I'll be able to see the same thing on this screen. On mirror displays, then I'll be able to see the same thing on this screen as I.
Chad LaForge has a great comment here. He says, "I tell my clients that if they if they need a script, that they should write it, rehearse it, and then make an index card of only the keywords and then throw the script away. I agree.
That's a good point.
I think that there's a hill. Imagine that, like you start at the bottom of the hill and you're like, I gotta get up here, and I rehearse and I rehearse and I rehearse and I rehearse. And then there's a point where you've rehearsed past the point where it feels rehearsed and it just seems like it flows.
I think my challenge is that English is not my first language. So I rehearse. I remember that in 2019, I did a presentation at the Creative Summit. I rehearsed a lot. Gabriel was helping me. He was listening to me saying the same thing over and over. And just to him, it was coming out well. Once I got into the room, my session filled up in a way. There were probably like 50 people in a room that's supposed to fit 25. I got so nervous. I skipped so many things that I was supposed to say.
Another tip:
one thing to rehearse for a camera, it's another thing to rehearse for an audio.
You tap like this.
Yeah,
bring up the
but that's a good example. If I had those prompters that normally President has, the transparent one, that would have been.
Oh, that was a nice
press
tip.
And hold Z, pan around or drag around.
And see what's the tip.
The area you want to zoom into, and then let go.
Pressing and holding the zoom key. Change to the zoom tool, and as soon as you let go, it goes back to the selection tool. It's interesting.
I never used the zoom key. The zoom tool, sorry.
What? You never use it?
No.
Okay.
I'll tell you why I use it.
I think I screwed this up at some point.
You
Many
press the
times before I
Z,
got this started
you
properly.
highlight
Let's
a
see if
portion
this
of
is-
the
Oh, you mean the zoom
Timeline.
tool as from the arrow, and then there's a zoom, or you're talking about command plus and minus?
This is something interesting too. I think and
well,
Chris will
command
appreciate
plus
this.
minus
This is
zooms towards your
part of just doing
timeline,
this for so
Yeah.
long.
but you don't know how
You'll hear
far,
my
how many
intonation
clicks you want to
is
go to
virtually
get the
identical between
resolution
these
that
takes.
you are seeing from the wide shot, so to speak. So if you use the zoom tool and you say, I want to zoom in on these
Because I
3 or
know
4 or
that I
5
might
clips
have to
because I
cut
need to
something
work
in,
on this
and once
section.
I've said it one
Mhm.
way,
And then
it's
just
in
let
my
go,
brain,
and
I
it
can
takes
just
you
do
right
it
to
again
that
and again. But
area.
if I do it too many times or go too far astray, then I will lose the plot. But
Yeah,
it's
interesting. I'm gonna try to remember that
it's
next
quite
time
helpful
to see
do it. It's quite handy to be able to do that.
if I remember.
Is that finally the right take? Let's see. It looks like I go on to other things here. Nope.
I'll go ahead and switch
Now,
over to Keynote.
the question
Well,
is,
I
we
really
have been here for an
didn't
hour and a
want to
half.
make this
How
right.
long are we gonna
Oh,
keep on
well.
commenting on this? Because now that
Yeah,
I'm
but,
thinking of,
Also, incidentally,
It's gonna
that
be
whole
mostly
intonation
multicam.
It can be helpful just even looking at the waveform. You can see here
and
that pattern of the waveform, and it's
oh
very
no,
similar
yeah,
to
I
this
may
one, very
I
similar to
remember
this
that
one.
he's
So
going to
sometimes
also
I
zoom
can
in
know
and
just by
out in
looking
some
at it
sections.
that,
I wonder if
repeated
he's gonna
myself here.
use
Here,
a
this
motion
looks different, so
VFX,
that's
zoom
probably
in and zoom
not that,
out,
but I'll double check
or
it.
if he's gonna do it manually, or if he's gonna
I don't think
keyframe.
so.
Yes, that's a totally different thing.
I think typically his
So,
videos are very
I know
cut.
that that's
cut,
where
cut,
I
cut.
finally got that right. So let's.
So you
cut
think
there.
that he
I
would
like the
just
comment
cut to a
did-
zoomed
did you
version
hear what he-
already?
All this.
Did you hear what he just said there about
Had a hard time
reading
with
the
that one for some reason.
waveform to get the full
Moving on.
take?
Yep.
Like he's looking at the waveform. He can say, I stumbled.
I'll go
I
ahead and
stumbled.
switch over to
I stumbled.
Keynote, where I've got a
This is the one
presentation
where I
ready to
got it.
go.
Yep.
Click
Doesn't
on
even have to
play,
watch it
and as
all.
soon as I do that,
I think
on
that's
that
the
screen,
probably
Okay, so now let's see here. Now I got to get
one of the best features of Final
clever
Cut
with
for
how
me.
I do this. This is.
Oh, you
let's
just
see here,
said
I wanna show
clever.
the Mac screen, the multi-view, and the program at once. I think that's what I want to do. Yeah. All right. So here's.
Here we go.
one
He's
other
gonna start
play,
stacking
display. So
compound
let's see here. I'm
clips.
going to bring this down to. At what point do I want to do this? Hold on. Probably when I hit play.
I'll go ahead and switch over to Keynote, where I've got a presentation ready to go, and click on play.
Yeah, I'll do it right after that. Let it come up.
And click on play.
There we go. Okay.
Oh,
So we're going to do that. At this point, I'm going
I
to cut
discovered
that.
something new about Keynote. the
Take
other day.
this. Let's see here. drag
Keynote
my
was
preset in,
driving
put it
me
on the left,
crazy that I
although
have three
probably gonna put it
monitors.
in
I
the
click on
corner.
present, and it takes over
Um,
all
let's
three
bring
monitors,
this
and I
one
can't
back
do
up. Oh, I guess
anything
that was
else.
right. Let's be consistent.
Yes,
There
I
we go.
discovered.
Play in window.
So let's
Yes.
see here.
Then I
Play,
discovered playing.
and as soon as I do that, on
That
my
came out
Mac
last
screen,
year.
I see my
Big
current
deal.
slide
Yeah.
and my next
Very
slide,
cool.
Yes,
while the A10
I
audience
missed
is
that.
only seeing the current.
Actually, I think I'll just leave it
And
there.
of
It says
course I
program right
Googled
there. I
it,
think
and
that
then
is
I
clear
found it, and I
enough
was like, oh
that
my
that is
God,
the program
finally.
they're seeing. Although I do want to reverse these.
That's how I did. That's how I did my presentation.
Thank you for watching. He's running out here. And Chad as well. Thank you for connecting with us.
Thanks, Chad.
On my Mac screen,
oh no, he's just seeing you later for Chad for Bug. I think Chad is staying.
Oh, okay.
Should I come back on screen for this? I don't know. I think
it's really warm here in my room.
I'm cutting
right
in.
now.
I'm cutting in. Joseph.
Yes, sir.
This is exactly what I was saying an hour ago. If you make it a subclip, it's not an issue. It's literally just one cut.
No, that's not the thing right now. I'm trying to decide whether I want to bring myself on screen. So I've got it 2 side by side. Do I want to make this a 4-up and put me in a corner? I'm just trying to decide creatively how I want this to be on there. This isn't about the complexity of switching it. And following your thing earlier, this time I decided to swap the order left and right sides just because it flows better for this. And so I would have to go and make a whole other compound clip again. So I get what you're saying. I totally do. And I appreciate it. I might actually do it one day. I will be sure not to give you credit when I do. But at this point,
I will say this from a learning perspective, that once I squeeze back and put, like, say, the multi-view in one location, I would always put it in that location. You're saying you're switching it left to right, whatever. I would always put it there because the eye has already seen it there. You've already taught people to look for it there. Just a thought.
Yeah, I do not disagree with you. I'm just thinking.
That's all I wanted to hear.
I feel like I just feel like here I really want to. I feel like this just feels
do
better.
Something that I don't want. I get it.
That's okay. It's okay. We're good. So, okay, well, I will let you help make this decision. Should I leave it like this, or should I bring me up while I'm talking about this? I think I can just leave it like this.
I'd have to hear what you were going to say coming up here.
Okay, well, I'll back up and do that again.
Let's take a look at how that works. I'll go ahead and switch over to Keynote, where I've got a presentation ready to go, and click on play. And as soon as I do that, on my Mac screen, I see my current slide and my next slide, while the ATEM, the audience, is only seeing the current slide. I can also change the display on the Mac here. For example, if I wanted to show my presenter notes, I can bring those up, and then I see my notes in here. Like here, it's telling me. Okay,
that's good. Yeah, I'm just going to leave it like that.
Yeah, I think you're good. There's so much to look at in those two displays.
Right. I am going to go back to just the Mac screen here, though.
I can also change the display on the Mac here. For example, if I wanted to
pause it right there.
You know, the question we didn't ask you an hour and a half ago, which we probably should have. And to be fair, you may have mentioned it when Felipe and I were doing our intro while you were talking. What is the tip that you're doing here?
Oh, I did explain that in the very beginning. Yeah. So this is how to input multiple device, how to plug other things other than cameras into your ATEM Mini, how to connect other devices. I did a poll on my YouTube channel. I did a poll asking what people want to see next, and this was one of, I think, 4 choices, which is something someone had asked me about, and I thought, okay, I'll do that one, and I put it in there, and it was the clear winner. People wanted to see. Yeah, overwhelming, like over 50% of the vote, and then the other 3 got the other, less than 50%. So, yeah,
look at you,
won by a
giving
landslide.
The audience what they want.
I know, right? Go figure. No, watch, I'm going to publish this, and people will be like, we didn't want to see this. You're an idiot.
Worst viewed video on your channel.
All right. So let's see here. Where am I going to cut this?
The current slide. I can also change the display on the Mac here. For example.
Thanks for joining, Frederick. Good night to you. Right, it's almost time to go to bed here as well.
There, so
midnight for me.
All right, so there we cut that. This goes back to where's my reset position? There it is. And
okay, Fenwick.
And hide that because I don't want
it. I think it's time for us to wrap up our test.
We can wrap up.
Yes.
I think we could do this better though.
We can.
I know that my audio monitoring is not ideal, and I don't know exactly what's going on in my headphones, but I've been hearing myself on a couple frame delay in one ear only for the whole time. It's been difficult to kind of block it out.
There's the other thing. It's also about choosing which video to edit live as well, right? Because this video is obviously very long. If it would be a 3 to 5 minute video, and
I wonder if we could get other. I wonder if we could get other editors to invite us into their suite. Like, it'd be great to watch, say, Scott Simmons cut a music video, or
Matzdorf.
That's going to go back to
Matzdorf cut whatever he's cutting. You know, I remember years ago I did an interview with a guy from TED. I can't remember his name off the top of my head. It'd be interesting to watch a TED video get cut, you know?
Okay, there is.
But it would be interesting to do a series of different types of edits. So I will put this out to those watching. If you are an editor and you sort of excel, or, you know, you have a particular genre that you think is of interest, let us know. I'd do this again. I think it'd be an interesting exercise to get better at doing what Felipe and I are actually doing right here.
Now,
and I'll say Felipe is doing 99% of the work.
Do you know? Do you have any way easy there? The registration link for office hours. I'd like to put it here in the chat.
It's always, to me, an interesting decision to make. How many angle changes do you do? How many is too many? How long is holding on one shot too long?
If you're still here,
sometimes it's
Chad
just
would
know
know
for me because I screw something
Chad,
up and I have
if
to
you're
edit.
still here,
But then here I've got a long take where I didn't.
Could you
a generic link? I mean, I know I have my link, but that
we need the specific registration link, right? And I don't know if the registration link comes in on the emails. That's actually a good question. Maybe you can take a look here and see if it's there. Oh, one thing that I would like to plug in. Tomorrow, Stephen Moyer.
Chad says he's... Chad, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Right clip here. You've got markers. Tap the M to break
the
marker.
Maybe send it to me on Discord, Chad, and I'll paste it here. That's probably just YouTube.
I have set up a keyboard shortcut for this. I'm going to go to Commands, Customize.
I think Chad and I are we already friends in Discord.
It's not called Task, is it?
No. Yes, we are.
To do. It's called a To Do marker. To-do. Nope. To do. There it is. Okay. Add to do.
So tomorrow.
So that's the command.
I'm gonna lower.
Check this out. Did you know this?
Joseph. Yes. What?
Joseph just made a keyboard shortcut for a specific type of marker, not just a generic marker.
No, I did not know that. Thank you for the link, Chad, and link coming in here now. Okay, that's, my God, I always double tap on M to add a marker and bring up this thing, and then I click on the to do.
Yep.
Oh. Okay, there it is. That's something I'm gonna add tomorrow to my keyboard shortcuts.
Yeah, he had to create his own shortcut for it.
Okay, let me see. Okay, sorry guys, I completely killed the audio from
mini tip number 7 showed you exactly how to build a
from PhotoJoseph's from here. But hold on, as we wrap up, let me.
I was gonna say you talk about a segmented audience. This
segmented
is like
audio.
Well, a segmented audience. YouTube is 500 million channels. You can watch exactly what you want. But we have chosen to create a show for people interested in Final Cut Pro. B, people who want to listen to two idiots talk about Final Cut Pro while somebody else is watching. I mean, you gotta admit, this is a pretty particular audience.
Yeah. Now I'm gonna do this. Fenwick and we don't have PhotoJoseph right now, just so we can wrap up here. One thing, I'm presenting tomorrow at the post-production world with Stephen Moyer about the workflow we did for the HBO documentary series, the 6-part documentary series, Q Into the Storm. So, and anyone can watch that for free, but it will only be live. There will be no recording of that session. So if you guys want to watch, it has to be there on time. It's going to be at 1 p.m. Eastern. So that's what, the 11 a.m. No, that's 10 a.m. 10 a.m. Pacific. And for you to find out how you're registered to watch it for free, just go to fcp.co. One of the latest articles has the instructions on how to do that for free. I think you guys are going to find that this is going to be a very interesting presentation. We go into as many details as we can. And of course, we only have 50 minutes to talk about, a lot of workflow, and you guys should go and join that presentation if you want, of course. Even if you're not working on Final Cut, I guess. But I think most people that watch this channel edits on Final Cut.
I would imagine.
Okay, Fenwick. Anything you want to say? I would like to thank PhotoJoseph as well for allowing us to tap into his stream and watch him.
Yeah, I'm wondering if we should pop in and just say,
we should.
We're bored, we're leaving.
Yeah, we should. Let's bring him up again. And bringing up
his all tend to work. So I found one edge where it started to be noticeable.
Let me
flicker,
pick a time.
The other edge where it started to be noticeable flicker, and I just picked the middle
this
point.
Is completely unrehearsed if you haven't noticed.
So all my cameras that I can set to shutter angle
and be going up and down with his audio.
The overhead camera
Sorry, guys.
is a G9. Does not have shutter angle. It only has shutter speed. And by shutter speed, the closest I can set is to 1/50th.
I'm going to pop in when I feel it's a good moment. So just stand by.
Instead of 221, it's like a 180 something, no, 190 something shutter. I don't remember what it is anyway, but it's not right. So you don't get as bad of a flicker as you would if you left it at a 30th or a 60th, but you do still get a noticeable flicker. And that irritates the out of me. But I don't, that camera doesn't do shutter angle, so it's all I can do. One of the many reasons that a camera that does shutter angle is so fantastic for doing work like this. Kind of back in the day, the ability to change shutter angle was super beneficial if you shot any video that had a CRT screen in it. So you've seen it, you've undoubtedly seen this before. You see the CRT screen rolling, the video rolling. If you find the right shutter angle, then that eliminates the roll. It's very useful for getting rid of flicker from non-standard lights or PAL regions versus NTSC, and your lights aren't matching up with the camera shutter angle, shutter speed. Then that'll fix that. But in this case, this is where I use it all the time in the studio, is shooting anything that's got a LCD or LCD display on it, or I don't know what the hell these buttons are, but they flicker like crazy. So you got to find that right angle. Anyway, 221 degrees. That's the angle. That's the magic angle.
Hey, Joseph.
Yes, sir.
We're going to pop in here and say goodbye. We have some things we need to do. Felipe's doing a presentation on at Post-Production World tomorrow. So he's got to get his rest. And it's really late in Prague right now.
It is late in Czech, isn't it? Yes.
Yep.
Okay, well, thank you, gentlemen. Yeah. Well, then you should definitely go to bed. Thanks, guys. That was fun. I'm going to, let's see here. People who are watching on my channel, just give me a shout out whether you want me to keep going. I had carved out to do this until 4 o'clock. And then I've got to jump on something else. So I'm more than happy to continue doing this. You just won't get the dialogue from the Peanut Gallery or not. So
Statler and Waldorf.
Thank you so much, Joseph.
Hey, thank you guys. That was
fun,
awesome.
Honestly.
Yeah, thanks for putting up with us. It was fun.
It was great. It was great. I really enjoyed that. So
and I think we're going to do this again. We've already put out the call for other editors who might want to invite somebody, invite us into their suite. I think that we could do it better.
Well, sure. This is the first time.
Not that we could do your edit better, but the process of doing this, like I was telling Felipe, I have horrible audio in my headphones right now. So
why?
Can you imagine the next time it would be, hey, you share your screen, but give us control as well. And then you're like, you know what? Let me do it this other way. Take over.
Sweet. Like I got 2 professional editors. I'm taking over. I'm out of here.
I'm going for coffee. Can you guys post it to my site when you're done?
Don't forget to keyword it and make a good thumbnail too. Right on. Thanks. Bye.
No, the audio issue has nothing to do with what you've done. It's just we did not think through the intricacies of doing this well enough. And next time we will.
Well, whatever you set up so that you can just mute yourselves on my Zoom, that's awesome, because that allows you to interrupt. So we don't need the Discord thing, which I'm still connected to apparently.
Well, as it turns out, our audio that we are sending out to our show is only the Discord audio. And then that way the reason we did that is so that we can pot you down. You're the only thing in Zoom.
Oh, interesting.
And what we probably should have done, one of the listeners, Chad Laforge said we could have all been in the same Zoom meeting, but each in our own breakout rooms. By doing that, Felipe can pin us into separate machines and have separate mix minuses going to each one.
Wow. There's so many levels.
The audio is much more complicated than the video.
Absolutely.
As it turns
Audio's a right pain in the ass. Yeah, for sure.
Yep.
For sure. Interesting. Okay, cool. Hey, thanks again, guys. I think that was really cool. We'll do it again sometime for sure. Right on.
All right.
See ya. Okay, so my audience who's still watching on my channel.
See ya. So
let's go to the two up.
I muted him here, and then I'm gonna go to just us. Chris was saying here that this was fun. It was like watching a train wreck in a way, I imagine.
Slow motion.
But it was like watching a concept, honestly, right? Like a concept car. This is the concept of what if we would do that. And Chris is very courageous. He throws out an idea on Twitter, and then immediately
I didn't do it on
there
Twitter. I contacted Joseph.
You did on
about
Twitter
the same time.
You did on Twitter,
but that was after I talked to you guys.
Was it?
Maybe it wasn't.
I don't think it was. I think
a bad
you
idea.
first tweeted and then you contacted him.
It's nice to do again, to borrow Mickey's term, it's nice to do the reps. It's good to try this and to push ourselves and this is a low if we had just said 5 minutes into it, oh, never mind, it would just sign off and delete it off your feed
and we've been live for almost 2 hours.
Yeah, it's kind of stupid.
It was a long time. So let's give back.
And I only had to take one phone call.
Still here.
All right. Well, thanks everybody for watching. Thank you, Felipe, for all the hard work you did at Felipe Central over there. You're a god among men. What you are. It's amazing.
My brain's hurting.
Yeah, whatever. And let us know. We'll do this again. It was kind of fun.
Okay, I'm gonna fade to black and remove our audio. Bye-bye, people. Thanks.
Bye-bye.